Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Iga and this is my little corner of the internet. I hope you all had a great start to your year. I hope you had a great holiday season. But without further ado, let's just jump straight into the video. So today I wanted to reflect on my 2024 and also set up some goals for 2025. I did a mid-year recap about 6 months ago on my channel, just talking about my goals for 2024, how they've been going, kind of my year so far. But in this one I thought we'd talk about like the full year and how it went, and the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So I want to reflect kind of on my resolutions, because I didn't really set resolution at the beginning of 2024 until I kind of inherited my friend's Notion template, which I think was in March or February, something like that, which was first of all intended for us to just kind of catch up and do the monthly catch up, and while we're doing that, do something productive and kind of see how our year is going. And I think that led me into a really productive streak on trying to organize my life in general and set up like deeper goals for the year. It was great because I am a type B person and that shit does not come naturally to me, and it's always a shame, but I am the way I am, and I'm just glad I found some method that helped me combat that in one way, shape or form. I also feel like I need to mention that my resolutions last year and this year are not like super life-changing events that are happening, but rather some obtainable goals kind of to help me set out how my year will go or what I want to achieve in the year. So in 2024 I've organized myself into pretty much 3 categories, and the categories were well-being, content creation, and challenge. I didn't organize it in the first place, but that's kind of the categories they fall onto. Essentially, I wanted to make sure that I am taking care of myself and my environment. I wanted to be more consistent with my content creation, aka YouTube and streaming for the most part. And then my challenge was a reading challenge, but I'll get more onto that now. If you'd like way more detail, I'll link my last video down below that kind of explains it a bit better. But if I explain it again here now, this is going to be a very, very long video. So for well-being, my main focuses were cleaning, as well as intentional movement. I wanted to make sure that my space is organized and that I am also taking care of my physical health, and so that was a big thing for me last year. Both went kind of 50-50. So I started the year off, especially with the intentional movement, really well, and I think because we had certain hurdles throughout the year, financial and other stuff, I kind of was on and off of it, but it was pretty consistent up until I would say October, and then mid to late October I got so busy and we were traveling, and then Christmas came around and December was a hell of a month, and more on that later, and it just kind of fell off. But for the most part throughout 2024 I would say I was really consistent at the gym. I did quite a lot of walks in the summer, and then especially since we got our dog, who bless his heart is right here sitting under my chair, especially since we got Rufus, I've been forced to kind of go on a few more walks throughout the day because we obviously have him. So I would say that was a pretty consistent one. Cleaning is definitely not where I want it to be. It is clean, but it's more I want it to be tidy, you know what I mean? Especially downstairs tends to be okay. Our bedroom is a big one that I struggle with because I just feel like we both have too much crap, quite frankly. So I think that's where the issue really lies, but that's okay. That's something we can tackle this year. Overall, for the well-being category, I think because I gave myself realistic categories within that, it went okay. Could have done better, but it wasn't terrible. Now for content creation, my main focus was to be more consistent with YouTube and also to kind of revive my streaming, which I did to a certain extent. I was definitely more active on YouTube this year, at least for a first couple of months, or like here and there, than I have been in a while. I find it really hard to not put a lot of pressure on myself with that. And then with streaming, I did have a really good streak between I think probably about March or April up until the summer, and then in the summer it always happens, it gets so warm, I get so busy because obviously you're going out, you're in pubs, blah 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 blah, and the last thing you want to do is sit by a desk in the warmest room in the house. So streaming kind of fell off, and I kind of let myself fall that off, and I think what I'm going to do in the future is kind of non-committal streams, so kind of have it as a second hobby, and do it like no commitment, just low-key fun, doesn't have to be high pressure. With YouTube, I get in my head so bad with wanting to post the right kind of content that I overwhelm myself so much. And I think it was very 50-50 with that this year. I think to a certain point I was really busy. I find working full-time and trying to find the time to edit videos really hard, but that's my own downfall. Like, I should just suck it up and do it. But I also find that I put a lot of pressure on myself trying to create the right kind of content, and I just sort of get in a rut thinking, well, I can't do it because it's just shit. It's just gonna be bad content. I don't want to put out shit. But I think you have to put out some shit in order to fine-tune bits. And I have so much footage from this year that I just haven't had the time to edit, that especially vlogs. I'm gonna do one big vlog for the end of 2024 that's gonna have stuff from like September till the end of year, and I'm really excited for that actually, because I think that's gonna be a nice little round out vlog for the year. But yeah, so I definitely got better at both, but it's definitely not consistently how I would like it to be, so that's a big thing for me this upcoming year. And for the challenge category, my challenge was to start reading, and in particular my goal for the year was to read 12 books, which I've absolutely smashed. I read 33 books, and I am so proud of myself because I've never been a huge reader, and I've said it before, 12 was such a realistic number for me because I think a book a month is a realistic timeline. To then go and double it and over, it's just, I'm so proud of myself for doing that. And yeah, I've learned that I like certain genres, and I've read some very popular series, which is nice because you kind of then find communities within that. And I gotten closer with my friends from reading as well. That's a huge thing that we did. We do reading dates sometimes where we just like go to one of our houses and just all read a book. So that has really been such a positive light in my year that I'm so happy that I've challenged myself to do it, and I am so happy that I started a new fun hobby for myself. As you can see, I have a collection of books. These are primarily books I haven't read yet, and I have more on a shelf over there, and I am slowly running out of space, but I am excited for the books I'm gonna read this year. I did kind of do a mix of audiobook, physical books and Kindle, and I like keeping the variety of it, and I don't want to hear it if you don't think that audiobooks count as books. They count as books. Shh. Shh. I'm just so happy that I did it. I am so proud of myself because I smashed it, and I am so happy to do it again this year. Overall, I think 2024 was a little bit of a whirlwind. Nothing and everything happened at the same time. Like, we started the year quite well, and then it sort of plummeted when my husband lost his job at the time. So that was a situation that we had to deal with for half the year, 6 months. It took him to then get a new job. So that was kind of quite hard on us financially, but we've had amazing support system, so we managed it. On the other hand, at the beginning of the year, I did get to spend a lot of time with my family, and I think if you're someone that has family far away and you're long distance with your family, I think you know how difficult it is sometimes, but that was lovely to see them despite, you know, everything happening at the same time. Throughout the year, I got to see some really awesome shows. I went to see Young Gravy in February, and then in September I saw Jonas Brothers, and then in October I saw McFly. I mean, I know it's only 3, but they were such great shows as well that I'm so happy I was able to go to them. And in the summer I also got to spend so much time with my friends. I'm very lucky in a sense that I technically live in a flat, but we do have a really nice big patio, so I got to invite my friends and we had drinks, and I read a lot in the summer, and I went for walks. And then in September, we were also so lucky enough to finally, after years of dreaming about it, adopt our dog, who is 7. He's my little middle-aged man. His name is Rufus. However, if you ever hear me call him Wolfie, that is his primary name that I call him in this house. He does awoo a lot, and I think that is a very, very fitting name for him. In the end, in August, Cass ended up getting a new job that he loves way more, and in between that, he also was able to have a part-time job, so it wasn't all so bad. In retrospect, it was very stressful at the time. And yeah, and the year was kind of going steady. We got to see Cass's family in November, which was incredible because we only get to see them once every couple of years. We would love to make it an annual thing, but unfortunately they live in Texas and tickets are quite expensive. You know, we're not the richest people out there, so we do our best, but we always want to go visit them. And I do love Texas. I do love spending my time there with his family and, well, my family. It was lovely to see his brother and his girlfriend and how their life are going, and it was lovely to go on this road trip to visit his brother. It was just an incredible 2 weeks. So we got to spend Halloween there as well, and we did an early Thanksgiving, and it was just super sweet. Even though our year went from plummeting to upwards trajectory, kind of December really kicked our asses. I mean, I'm talking, we had family health scares, we had broken washing machine, we had broken car to the point where we've now had to get rid of our car, and actually was saving to replace it because, you know, scrapping it didn't give us enough money to replace it. To then having blocked drains that we then had to pay to unblock, and we're pretty sure it wasn't our fault, but I digress. You know, any and every energy that I would have had, bear in mind I didn't really take much holiday last year other than to visit family, which was incredible, but I think sometimes you need one that isn't that you can just relax and just chill. I think any and every energy I had to end the year on a positive note towards that after the first 6 months, I think, then just like got absolutely smashed. I mean, it fully felt like the universe was like, no, you are done with this. Like, this house feels like it's rejecting us every day now, which maybe more on that another day. But the car was like, nah, we finished our journey together. It was honestly insane. And yeah, so what was a, in my opinion, very positive year overall ended on such a sour note that I'm really kind of struggling to start this year positively. But overall, I would say whirlwind is the way to describe 2024. And other than December, really, I don't think I would change much. Even with the slight struggles, I think if December wasn't a thing, I would just, as an overall, put this year as such a positive year. And I think if I look at the fact that I've took care of myself mentally so well, doing these reflections, and I was, you know, in touch with friends that I probably wasn't in touch as well in previous years, like Millie, for example. This has really brought us closer together, in my opinion. Oh, I forgot to mention, I went to see Six the Musical as well, and that was really incredible. That was really incredible. I had a great time doing that. I've done so many things differently for myself and to ensure that I'm having a good year this year, that I'm gonna now transfer to next year, that I can't write off that year. I don't think it was terrible, but I definitely think the last month and a half or so have been preparing me for something that I'm kind of afraid of, because it seems like it's one of those situations where everything has to go to shit to get better, and I don't know what to expect. That's how I would describe my 2024. Moving on onto my goals for 2025. I think overall in 2025, I want to follow my passions more this year. I want to focus on creating a life I want to live, and not accidentally getting myself stuck in a life that feels like a rut and where I'm living for the weekend. But in order to change that, I have to do things that I do love and that I want to follow. And so some of these goals are to do with that. On New Year's Eve this year, my best friend and I, we really focused on kind of manifesting what we want our next year to be, and we made vision boards. I'm gonna enter a photo somewhere here of us doing that, and we did some woo-woo stuff. And I did spend the first minutes of the year under my table eating 12 grapes. But I think what I want from this year is to follow my passions, see where they take me. And so some of those goals kind of tie into this. So the categories are very similar, except I'm gonna do well-being, content creation, hobbies, which content creation is a hobby, but I think because it's so substantial and I want to focus on it more than the hobbies, it's separate category. And then my challenges are a separate thing just for the challenges. So for the well-being, I want to focus on my physical and mental well-being overall. So I'm making this into one resolution where I want to make sure I eat healthy, make sure my space is clean, and make sure I prioritize me time, journal, and overall just take care of myself spiritually, physically, mentally, all that jazz, but I'm counting it as one category. I think they all have such a big part in contributing to my well-being that I can generalize them within one category. For content creation, my primary focuses are YouTube, as well as doing some short form content. I think with the content that I produce, some of them can be repurposed on all platforms sometimes. I think I just need to figure out a strategy on when and how is it relevant and where. I want to create consistency, especially with YouTube, but just in general, a platform for myself on all these social channels in order to then grow my online platform, in order to then grow my platforms online. And then the third category are hobbies. So in general, this just means what I've done to prioritize doing just the things I love just for the sake of doing them. So like crochet, learning how to play the guitar, gaming, reading, you know, just things that bring me joy that I normally would put too much pressure on myself just to do. I think sometimes I make it all high stakes, and it doesn't have to be like that. Like if I want to play a game, I don't have to stream it. If I want to crochet, I don't have to make a big thing. I can just make a few granny squares. If I want to learn how to play the guitar, I can learn just a random song. If I want to write a song, it can be a stupid song, you know, it doesn't have to be something I'd ever put out there. Just in general, doing things that make me happy for the sake of making me happy. That's that goal. And for my challenges, and this is just like a separate little one that I've made myself that I want to accomplish this year, I would like to write 3 songs, whether for myself or that I would ever consider releasing. I just want to get more into songwriting and music again, because I really do miss it. It's been years since I've done it. I don't know why I stopped. I think there was just so many things happening, and then here we are. I would like to crochet at least 5 projects of various sizes. So I'd like to ideally make a jumper and make a blanket, but the other 3, they can be tiny. They can be tiny. I will actually class finishing Cass's D&D dice pillow as one of those projects, because actually I need to get on that. And then for my reading challenge this year, because it is still another challenge, I would like to read 24 books, which I think is realistic. You know, I went from 12 to 24. I've already done that last year, but I want to keep my goal realistic. So 24 books is still a lot of books. That's my goal for this year so far. And we're talking, this is the 26th of January. I've read, I think, a quarter of Throne of Glass, which my original goal was to read all of Throne of Glass in January. Safe to say I did not have time to do that. But I've started reading, which is already improvement from last year, and I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. Like I say, overall this year is about following my passions, both professionally and just for myself. I want to create a life that I love living. This is pretty much my reflections and my goals for next year. I do plan on possibly doing a video on all the books I've read and everything on my TBR for this year. If you would be interested in that, let me know in the comments. I also just realized that I never mentioned that I actually managed to learn how to crochet. See, when you sit down and reflect like that, you think about it, you talk. I wrote the whole script for this, but I didn't even clock to tell you how my mother-in-law has taught me how to crochet. But she has, that's the thing. So if you've made it this far into the video, leave me a yarn emoji down in the comments. If you've made it this far, I thank you. I thank you greatly. But yeah, if sitting like that makes you kind of reflect and you realize how much you've done in a year. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Like, subscribe, comment. Bye.